But there are in Foucault's work several passages about school and instruction, like this one, taken from an interview of 1971 for the magazine Actuel. Academic knowledge, says Foucault in this interview, as it's given out in the instruction system, obviously means a political conformity. In history, you are requested to know some things and not to know the other ones. Or better, some things form knowledge in its contents and in its rules. Two examples. Foucault gives two examples. Official knowledge has always represented political power as the stakes in a struggle within a social class, mainly aristocracy, or as the stakes of a struggle between aristocracy and bourgeoisie. As for the popular movements, they are always presented as effects of famines, taxes, or unemployment, but never as a struggle for power. Another example, that of a worker's knowledge. Underneath the division of labor, through and thanks to it, there is a whole mechanism of appropriation of knowledge which conceals, seizes, and disqualifies the worker's knowledge itself. This was already said about a century before Foucault by Marx itself. In the same year as Foucault wrote these lines, another important European thinker, Ivan Illich, published the work that gave him some name at the time. Alas, Ivan Illich is now almost forgotten. The title of his 1971 book is clear-cut and unmistakable. The Schooling Society. The Schooling Society. Illich's criticism of schooling system is radical and deep, and it rules every possible reform of existing schools out. We read something from the introduction to The Schooling Society by Ivan Illich. Universal education through schooling is not feasible. It would not be more feasible if it were attempted by means of alternative institutions built on the style of prison schools. Neither new attitudes of teachers towards their pupil, nor the proliferation of educational hardware or software in classroom or bedroom, nor finally the attempt to expand the pedagogue's responsibility until it engulfs his pupil lifetimes, will deliver universal education. No one of these alternatives will deliver universal education. The current search for new educational funnels must be reversed into the search for the institutional inverse, educational webs, which heighten the opportunity for each one to transform each moment of his or her living into one of learning, sharing, and caring. We hope to contribute concepts needed by those who conduct such counterfoil research on education, and also to those who seek alternatives to other established service industries. Remember, this line were published in 1971, so almost 40 years ago. What's the main fault of schooling system in Illich's view? It is their institutionalization, the asserted but not demonstrated coincidence of learning and schooling, the creation of a caste of professional teachers, the submitting of people in their learning processes to the fixed and strict choices of an educational program set by others than pupils themselves, so making their very interests and desires completely fruitless. It's always Illich who speaks. A second major illusion on which the school systems rest is that most learning is a result of teaching. But most learning happens casually, and even most intentional learning is not the result of programmed instruction. Normal children learn their first language casually, also faster if their parents pay attention to them. That's clear. Most people who learn a second language will do so as a result of odd circumstances and not of sequential teaching. Always Illich speaking. Both the exchange of skills and matching of partners are based on the assumption that education for all means education by all. Not the draft into a specialized institution, but only the mobilization of the whole population can lead to popular culture. The equal right of each man to exercise his competence to learn and to instruct is now preempted by certified teachers.